Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alex Garcia. I'm a software support specialist over here at Distributor Central. Today's webinar, we're going to be going over taking a deeper dive basically into the website editor. So this will be helpful for you if you already have a website built and you just want to start getting in and start customizing it. So as you know, we provide free websites, comes with a free SSL certificate. They're e-commerce enabled. You can map your domain to it if you need to. And we also provide you with pre-built templates. So if you just want to put your logo on it and get something up quick and going, you can do that. And then now let's say you want to take it a step further and you want to start customizing it with the products, the suppliers, different stuff on it outside of what we've provided in the template. This will be helpful for you. Feel free to ask questions along the way. And we'll answer those, and then we'll save some time at the end to go over any questions you guys might have. So once you get logged into your Distributor Central account, we're just going to come over here to the left-hand menu. We're going to go to Websites Hosting Manager. And from here, you'll see a list of all your current websites that you have. So you're going to find the website in question, and you're going to click Manage. And then we're going to click Edit. So this is going to take us into the website editor where we'll do our editing, our customization, everything that we want to change about our website. So first we'll start kind of over here in the left-hand side, talk about the different tabs and what's in the menu, and then we'll go over the home page and go over each block so you can see exactly what it looks like to edit one of these blocks. So first thing, if you're new to websites, there's three main parts. There's a header, a current page, and the footer. So the header and the footer are going to share over to every page. Whatever you have content-wise on your header and your footer will share over to every page, and then obviously current page is going to be the information on your current page. So you can see right now we're just on the default, we're on the home page. Over here in the left-hand menu, you'll notice that you see like row 1, picture, quick search, and there's different rows and then different block types. So what our website editor consists of is basically all different kinds of block types that do certain things, and we'll go over that here in a second, and then just determining what you want to use on each individual page content-wise and which block will best suitify what you're looking for. So if you notice the rows here, we'll start with the row. If you click the plus, that's where you'll see the block types, and we'll go over these here in a second. If you click the pencil icon, you can see that there's different row types too. So normal would be more condensed, fluid, and you can see examples right here. So Jumbotron would fill the whole page, whereas normal would kind of condense it down to a smaller website width-wise. So you can pick which one you want to choose from there. Going back to the row, when we click on the plus, you'll see the different block types. So as I mentioned, these are the block types that are used in our website editor to create content. So you have a carousel block. We'll just kind of briefly go over them. You have a carousel block that will show you, basically it's like a scrolling image, and you'll see that here on the home page when we go over an example. But you can pick images, you can link images to it. It's like a scrolling marquee of images, basically. Contact form is going to be a form that usually on every one of our templates you'll see on the contact page, which you can see we have linked up here. It's just a basic form for them to fill out, and then you can choose additional fields if you want for them to fill out, but it'd be like the name, phone number, email, just the basics, and then you can pick additional fields if you want to do that. Contact information is just going to grab the information from whatever your contact types are in your Distributor Central account. So by default, you have a main contact. You can go in and you can create a customer service one. You can create an orders one. You can create a salesperson one. And this allows you to pick which contact you want to pull in. So as an example, when you sign up for Distributor Central, normally you're providing everything, your street address, your phone number, your email. And let's say you don't want your customers to see all that because this form or this block is going to pull in all that information. So what you want to do is go over and create like a customer service contact, and then you can leave out your name or put your name as customer service. And most people will do like something that they'll have just city, state, and zip, and then they'll do like an email or a phone number. So they won't have the actual physical street address on there. And that's just going to pull in all the information for you, so you don't have to type anything in. You just pick the contact type that you want. Custom CRM is a little more advanced. This is so if you want to create your own custom form, there's fields in there that you can write with HTML that it will automatically fill in certain things for you based on what you want the form to be like. So that is more advanced, like I said, but you can build custom forms with that. Display website link is basically a link to your website. A document, which we'll go over once we get to the library, that just allows you to pull in any documents that are currently uploaded on your website. Email a friend is just going to be like a little box that pops up, and then they can put their email in to send it to a friend. Featured product allows you to pick which product in our database out of all our products that are in our database that you want to showcase on your website. Maybe you have products of the week or product of the day, that type of thing that you want to feature. This will allow you to do that. File upload allows your customers to upload files onto your website. And this comes in handy for like artwork, or if the file might be too big to email to you, they can upload it on your website, and then you'll get it sent over. You'll get a notification to your Distributor Central account to look at those, and also an email notification. Headline is just a larger font. Headline is basically what it is. Like for instance, if you come down here to the top sellers, that would be like a headline, just a larger font. So something easy that you can create. Horizontal line is basically just a line that goes across the page, and then you can adjust the width of it if you want to. Link is going to pull any links in from your link library. Excuse me, whereas link bar will pull in multiple links. So this is single link if you just want to link it, and this will pull in multiple links. So this is an example of a link bar down here, and you'll see that as we go through it. Login block gives your customer the ability to log in. So once your customer, in order for them to place an order on your website, they have to create an account. Once they create an account, they can use that account from then on out, and they can so next time they come back to your site, they can log in. They don't have to worry about creating another account. Same thing here with the login and cart bar, but this one actually has the cart next to it too. So the checkout, and that goes with the e-commerce side of things. Navigation bar is just like the nav bar is like a navigation bar at the top of your website. You see them on all websites. Usually have pages or links, and usually that's found in the header, and it'll carry over to every page. Order status gives your customer the ability to put in their order number to check on the status of it, and you'll get a notification on that. Picture block pulls in images. Any images you want to display, logo, or just images in general, you can use a picture block, and that'll pull in the images. Product category list is our master category list by default, so it'll pull in, which are some of these are down here, like you can see apparel and shirts, foods and edibles, office accessories. So you can add that to your website, and we'll add that here in a little bit so you can see what that looks like. Product of the day. Now this is, as I mentioned earlier, with featured product, you can have your own product of the day. But this product of the day is actually pulling from our database. So if you go back over here to Hosting Manager and you go to Home, the product of the day that shows up right here is the same one that's going to pull on your website. So if you just want to pull in the same product of the day, it'll automatically update on your website, and you don't have to worry about it. Product ribbon is going to pull in collections. So whatever collections you create, and we'll show you an example of that here in a little bit. But so let's say you did one for COVID, because with everything going on right now, you can pull in one that just shows COVID, and you can see a collection down here that says top sellers. And so we'll go over that in a little bit here. Product tag list gives you the ability to tag products. So if you wanted to tag a product, like let's say you were doing tumblers and you had certain ones you wanted to tag, you could tag them tumblers, and then you could build a list off of that, all the ones you tag tumblers, and it would pull it all into one list for you. Quick search is just basically the search bar. So it's going to search through your entire website, whatever collections you have loaded on it. So your customers can find products either by keyword, or they can do item number, so on and so forth. Quote form is just another simple form that's already pre-built. It allows your customer to enter in the information that they're looking in to and want to quote for on what item. RSS news feed is a feed generator. So if you have a feed, you can plug it in here on your website. Social media link bar allows you to pull in different social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, so on and so forth. And we provide the icons for you. You just need to add the link to your page. And then last but not least is the written content block. So the written content block is the most versatile block. So as you've seen, when we come down here and we've gone through all these, each one of these kind of has a specific thing that they do, but the written content block can do multiple things in one. So I'll show you here. So let's say we wanted to use this written content block. So I'll click on it and you'll see it gets added. Anytime you add a block, it's going to put it to the bottom of the row. And if you needed to move it, you can just click on it, left click, and just hold it and drag it up and down the list wherever you want it to go. But we'll show you an example of what I was talking about. So if I click on the pencil, you'll see here that all the toolbar is similar to like a Microsoft Word toolbar, but you can get in here, you can do a link, you can do an image. So you can do a link and an image together. Like you could link an image if you wanted to. You can do text, you can bold, italicize, indent, all different kinds of stuff, add color, everything. And then also if you know HTML, you can go to the source and you can enter in HTML here. So this is one of our most versatile blocks to use if you're trying to do multiple things at one time. So let's go back here. So let me delete this real quick. So as I mentioned, you can click on the plus to do to get in to edit the block, but you can also double click over here. So if you notice as I'm highlighting if I'm hovering over, it's highlighting into the background. You can see that kind of light gray box. So all you have to do is double click on your mouse and it'll pull it in, or you can come over here and click on the pencil. Another thing you noticed when I clicked on it originally is it shows you where it's at over here in the left-hand menu. So if I click on it once, I can see exactly where it's at. If I come down here and click on one of these, it's automatically going to pull it up where it's at over here in the menu. So it gives you a good idea. Another way, once you get familiar with the blocks, so as you see, as I've added the block, when I did the written content, it just had the written, I'll do it again here real quick so you can see. So if I did like written content, if I did social media, you can see it's using the name of the block. But if I wanted to, once you get the hang of it, then you can come in here, see where it says picture block. I know that that's the picture block. I can double click on the picture and I can name it. So I can change the block name to logo so you can get better organization and know like if you needed to move stuff around, you kind of have a better idea. Whereas like if you were doing multiple written content blocks and you didn't rename it, it could get a little confusing because if you see here, I'll just do a couple that they're all just going to be named written content. But you can go in here and double click on it and you can rename it to whatever will help you remember what content is in that actual block there. Let me go ahead and remove these real quick. And to remove it, you just remember you can double click or you can click the pencil and then just click the red trash can at the bottom left and then it'll be removed. So the next thing over under the row, you see that you have the different logos, or I have the logo that was it was a picture block, but I renamed it logo. So now I come over here to the drop down and you'll notice that when I click on it over here, it automatically does the drop down for me. But if you don't click on it that way, you can come over here and click on the arrow and it'll do the drop down. And then you'll see the different aspects of the block. So with this, you can see visibility. So if I didn't want it to be visible, certain things to be visible on like the cell phone or mobile, because as you go smaller, like with the device, it's going to shrink the screen down. So I can say I don't want it to be shown on the cell phone and the laptop. So you have cell phone, laptop, cell phone, tablet, laptop, desktop. And so if you didn't want visibility, you could click on that. And then if you can come up here, and I'm sure you've noticed this in the middle of the page, that now if I go here, it's not going to show. If I go here, it's not going to show. And if I go to the laptop, it'll show. And if I go to the desktop, it'll show. By default, it's going to have visibility with everything. The next thing underneath is public versus private. So that's just going to be blocks that your customers can see. You can determine whether they have to be logged into their account in order to see certain things, or just anybody can see it. So that would be public versus private, and you can just click on which one you want. Next thing is the width. So you can just see the icons continue here: cell phone, tablet, laptop, desktop. And you can see the blue lines. When you see the blue lines, you can adjust it. If it's gray, you just need to click on the lock. But as I move it to the left, you can see it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So you can adjust the size to whatever you want. Offset is just going to move it. So if I made it smaller like this, and then I wanted to move it more towards the center, I'll just come over here and I'll move it. You can see I can move it towards the center more. So that's just going to do that. Reorder is a tricky one. I would stay away from that. If you use the reorder, you'll see here that it can overlap if you go too far. So if I go, you can see it's off the page now. So I would stay away from that one. At most, mess with the width, and then if you had to, you can do the offset. But I would kind of stay away from reorder. That way you don't have a chance of it overlapping. But you can see that I've just made a quick change there. So those are the different aspects of the different block once you get into it. So you can see, and those aren't on every one, just like the pencil is on every one. Going back to the row, so the row is going to be horizontal. You can put as much as you want in one row, but if you want to separate stuff and you want it to be on a different row, just for less confusion, if you had row 1 on your current page and you had all this under row 1, instead of breaking it up into row 2, row 3, row 4, that'll help you out. And another thing it does, it keeps it from doing, so like if right now you can see that I have I have the logo and the quick search, that if I take this right here and I edit this quick search and I shrink this down, I can shrink this down as much as I want, and it's going to coincide with the other one that's ahead of it. So if you wanted this to be on its own row where it wouldn't, like if I make this smaller and then I try to pull this up to here, that would be in the same row. If I want it on its own row and I don't want anything else associated with it, you can create your own row, and all you have to do is click the same thing. Just click the come down here to add row, and it'll add a row for you. So mostly you'll see all the templates that we have, all the rows are preset and everything, and they're pretty good spread out. So you can add content and change it as needed. So let me make this, go get this one back here to right about there. So now what we'll talk about is we'll go over the different, actually go into the blocks on the right hand side. So you can see there's a preview over here on the right hand side of what's going on. So as I mentioned before, if you click on it, it'll tell you where it's at over here. So like if I did that, it'll tell me where it's at. Or you can do the double click. I like the double click method. It's a lot easier, I think, but you can do either one. Click on the pencil or just double click. So if we come over here and just double click on the nav bar, you can see that this is kind of one of the blocks, and all these will have different stuff that you can edit in it, but this kind of gives you an idea. So with the navigation bar you have here, you can see all the links that we've currently selected. You can also see the products and the master categories that are underneath that. So these are links right here, just different links that I have on my website, and you'll see that when we get to the link library. So if I click plus link, I can add any of these links that are come preloaded, or if I had my own link created, I could add that too. So anything in the link library you can use on your website. Once it's in there, you can use it. In order to get a drop down going like this, you just click on group. So if I did group, and let's say I just wanted to create one for catalogs, click OK. Same thing goes back to as before with moving it. So if I just click and drag, I can move it to wherever I want. So if I want it right there, and then all I'm going to do is click on the plus link, add link, and then I can start adding different catalogs. So just as an example, backpacks, awards and recognitions, and we'll do like beach towels, just a couple of them so you can see there, so I can add my own. And then if you wanted to add anything else, you could do that too. And you can add it to the left or the right side. It's up to you how you want to do that. With the navigation bar, you also have the option. By default, a lot of them are going to be static, which means as you scroll down, the navigation bar will disappear, or you can change it to fixed, and that means the navigation bar will always stay at the top. So as you scroll down the page, it'll stay at the top no matter what part of the page they're on, instead of it only showing at the top, and then as you go down, you won't see it until you scroll back up to the top. So the next one is the picture block. So we're just going to double click, and you can see here the images. The image I currently have loaded. Ask me if I want what kind of alignment I want. I can add a link to it. You can determine whether you want it to open in a different window, and you can even adjust the size on the different, as I mentioned before, these websites are responsive, so they work on all platforms, and you can adjust the size of how it appears on each individual one if you want to break it down into that. By default, all the websites that are created, that we've created on the template, they all transition down to the different platforms really well. But if you want to add additional content, or if you don't want certain things to show, you can adjust that as you go. So we'll move down to this one, quick search. Remember, you can do the pencil or you can double click. So I'll do the pencil on this one. And you can see right now that it's going to search through all the collections that I have. They're going to be listed out. So I have an all products top seller, PPE blowout, PPE products, and promo made in the USA. So I have different ones here that I can use to search through this one. So by default, if you're having all products from all suppliers, which the majority of people want, or that's usually what the templates have, is you can come over here and click on the all products, and then just leave it as the show only search box. You can do the advanced if you want, but this is the one that makes it look like that. And then you can change the placeholder text. So just to give you an example, you could say enter item number or keyword. The instant search goes back to our smart search, intelligent search engine. So if you start typing in, and I'll show you an example, same thing that we have from our dashboard, just went back to the dashboard. If I start typing in cup, it's going to look for the first three and start recognize what I'm looking for and pull back the first three results. So that'll also be available to your customers on the website. So I'm just going to click done, and then you can see the placeholder text has changed. So we'll move on down to the next one, which is the carousel. So you can see here that different settings for the carousel, whether you want it to autoplay, you can determine the delay in between the slides, whether it opens in a new window, again, with the links that are connected. You have different transition effects you can do, so fade, slide, cube, cover, flip. So we'll just change one just as an example. Whether you want it to loop through the slides, you can have it where it adjusts the height. What adjust the height means is that what you want to do normally when you create, if you add your own images to a carousel, you want them all to be the same size so you get that smooth transition. If they're not the same size, if you click the adjust height, then what it'll do is make sure that every slide that it loads will be the size of the picture. If you have that off and you have a bigger picture, what it's going to do, it's going to go to the biggest picture and it's going to carry that throughout the whole slide. So if you had one that's, let's say 1600 by 400, and then you have one that's like 3000, 3000 by 800, it's going to take that 3000 by 800. It'll still have the 16 by 400 and it'll look the same size, but it'll be stretched as far as the block. The image won't be stretched, but the block will, to accommodate for that bigger one that's coming up in the slide. So if you turn it on to yes, then as it goes through, it'll resize to whatever size the image is. Ideally, like I said, you want them all to be the same size for that smooth transition. We recommend 1600 by 400, something along those lines. You should be good and set to go. So the pagination bullets are just going to be the bullets at the bottom here. So you can turn those on and off if you want. And then the arrows, if I turn the arrows on, that'll just give your customers the ability to, you can see them right here, to either go forward or go back through the slides. If you don't want that on, just turn that off. So you'll have, if you use a template, you'll have the ones that are already preloaded, ready to go. But you can add your own. And as I mentioned, you would just click add a slide, and then you would just pick one from the list. And you would just want to make sure that it's around the same size. Or if it's not at the time, then just make sure you change it to the auto adjust height on. And then also you can, as you see here, you can add captions. You can add links, so you can link the pictures to whatever you want. You can see as an example, this one, the PPE products is linked to this PPE, USA made PPE banner that we made. So different things you can do there. Next, we're going to look at the link bar. So as I mentioned previously, it's just pulling from the link library, and you can add multiple links side by side. So you can see here that we have a couple links here, and then they're just listed out here side by side. You can change the orientation of it. So if you wanted to go vertical, you can make them go vertical. Different orientations that you can do there. So you can kind of play around with that and get it to your liking. Top sellers, so we're just going to double click on that one. That's that product ribbon that we were talking about. So right now it's set to featured products. So let's say I want to change it to a collection that I have. I'll change that to collection. I'll come over here to PPE products, and then I can, by default, when you select the collection, it's going to use the ribbon title to whatever you want. It's going to change the ribbon title to the same name, but you can change this to whatever you want. And then you can adjust different settings down here too. So now you can see that I have a different ribbon there. And then here's another product ribbon. You can have as many product ribbons as you want. So here's another one. So if I want to do another collection, let's say I want to do the USA. So I can come over here and I'll change this to USA made. And you can see that it changed it to USA made. So now I have two new collections loading here in the product ribbon. Product of the day, as I mentioned, pulls just from the actual product of the day. If I go back to the dashboard, this one right here, it's automatically going to pull that in. So if I go here and I double click on it, I can change the name of it to whatever I want. So it's going to automatically pull in that product, but I could change it to like featured product of the day. And now it'll say something different. So you can change the title on it basically, and it's automatically going to pull it in. If you want to do your own product of the day, that's an opportunity where you could come in and you could do like, you could take advantage of the featured product block type, because then you can pull in whatever block you want. And you could use like a headline block and for the featured product of the day, the text, and then use, just as an example, use the featured product block and pull in the product that you want to show up underneath that. Next one down is the shop by category, which is the product category list. So if I double click on that, right now it's set to all products. It's set to masonry. I can change it to master, where it'll be listed out instead. So if I come over here, you can see the links are listed out. If you want to do the full, a lot of people that do the full will create a new page, and it's always recommended to do a new page, because when you're building a website, you don't want a lot of content on your home page that'll slow it down from loading, could time out, could air out. You don't want your customer to have your website air out because it doesn't load, you have too much content on it. So you'll see if you actually do the full, it's actually the full list. So you can see everything that's loaded. So what this is this every category, not just the master categories, but every category. And so if you want to do something like that, you could create a page, and then you could put this on there. And I'll show you an example of that here in a little bit. So we're going to just go back to the masonry and leave it the way it is. And then you saw here, you can actually change the number of columns if you want to change that. So as we scroll down, we'll go to this next one, which is just the link bar. Same thing as before, it's just different. This one's horizontal, where the other one was justified and just more links. So this one's focused more on just pages, whereas the other one is focused more on collections. So you can do whatever you want in the link bar. And then the last but not least, the social media link bar. You can see, as I mentioned before, with the different, here's all the different ones that we have. So you can put your email, Facebook, all different kinds of social media platforms, icons that you can use. And then all you have to do is copy and paste the URL to your page here. And then just click done. If you don't need, like, let's say you didn't have one of them, for instance, like you don't have YouTube on and you're using a template, just come in here and click trash can. It'll remove it. Or you can just even change this if you wanted to. So you can come in here and let's say I want to do Google Plus. So I could change that and then just change the name to whatever. By default, what we're going to do on these templates is we're automatically, if we have these listed here, we're just going to provide the main page to the social media platform. So it's not going to be a dead link. It'll go to the main page, but you can come in here and replace it with your own page. And then at the bottom, we just have that written content block that we talked about. And you can see here, there's how it would look with HTML. And then we have something in here that'll automatically fill your website name in, but you can change that to whatever you want. So remember, the written content, or I'm sorry, the header and footer information is going to carry over to every page. And then you just determine what you want on your current page. So we've made a couple changes, and as you make the changes, if you want to view it, so it's automatically live, you just want to click save. And then once you click save, you can come up here to live preview, and you can see all the changes that you made. So we did the catalogs, you can see the drop down here. So different things, little small changes that we've made. The PPE, the USA made, all good to go. And once you click that save, it's live. So we'll go over the next tab. So we started with blocks. Now we're going to go into pages. So as you can see here, these are all the current pages that are on the website. So you have an about, you have a couple system pages, which would be account, cart, catalog, order, and product. Contact and about are basically pages that we've created. So if I click on the contact page, you can see an example of the contact form. So you can either double click from here when you actually activate the page, or if you want, go back to blocks, and then you'll see here, remember the header and footer carry over, and then there's only a couple things on the current page. So I'll come over here and double click. The contact form by default is automatically going to default to whatever you have listed as your main, but this once again goes back to your contacts. So if you had a customer service one in here, you can change it to customer service as I did here. You can add a reply message to your customer and also a form submitted message that they'll receive. By default, they'll have to fill in their first name, last name, and email, as I mentioned, and then you can pick any of these additional fields if you want them to fill that out. Once they fill that out, you'll get a notification to your email address. And then if you go back to your Distributor Central account, up here in the orders, you'll get a notification on your DC account too, which it'll be under the customer request right here is where you'll see it. And so all the information that they filled in, you'll be able to follow up with them. So that's an example of that contact form I was telling you about. Basically, like any of the forms, predetermined, we've already built them for you, and then you just go in and pick which fields that you want them to fill out. If you want to add a page, so like we were talking about that full catalog, I'll show you an example. So we'll just click Add New Page. We'll name the page. And you can change the slug to whatever you want. And then I'm going to click Save New Page, and you can see now I have a new page here. So if I click on the page, as I mentioned before, only thing that's going to carry over header and footer information, which you can see here. So if I go back to blocks, you can see I have nothing on the current page as far as blocks go. So I can add product category list, and then I can edit the list, and I can change this to all products, and then we're going to go with the full list, and then click Done, Save. So now I have this on another page where somebody can see the entire full list of the product category. And let's say I wanted to add it up here. So I'll just double click up here, and I'll go ahead and remove this for now. And I'll come over here, and you can see full catalog right here, ready to go. And another thing you can do here is it's going to pull in the name that you created. But if I come over here and I click on the pencil, I can do a custom link. So I could do entire product or entire catalog list, or whatever you want to name it. And you can change it, and it'll still keep the same page, but you can customize the name of the actual name of the link that you want it to use. So now this is linked to this page. Then if I need to go back, I can click on pages, and I can go back to my home page, and I'll just click save. And so now I have that new page created. And I can add more pages if I want to. I can edit the page. So let's say that I want to edit the page and I wanted to change the name of it. I can just come over here and click edit, and then I can change the slug, or I can change the name of the page, whatever I want to do there. Next thing, we'll go into the library. So library, you'll see custom URLs. So custom URLs is going to be used for mostly SEO purposes. Basically what it does is, I'll show you you can see here, that what you'll do is, let's say you had a previous website, you had a page or something, and you want to copy that information. You want that information to share over to your new website. So you have the same information, but it's on a different page. You'd put the old URL in there, and then you would link it to the new page, and then you would save it. So that would create a custom URL. Or if you, for example, it's similar to like a hyperlink too, if you will. So if I do, let me go back here to live preview, and let's just go to one of these products. So whether it's a catalog or a product, and you wanted to send this to your customer and create a custom link for it, you could take that entire link, use the custom URL function, and I could change that to have it be sleeve. So it would be my URL with the domain, and then / sleeve, and it would go here. So it's just another way to create a custom URL. Documents, as we talked about, these you can upload documents, text, Excel, Word doc, whatever, PDFs, anything that you want to upload, you can upload here, and then you can use that document block to pull in once it's uploaded here. Same thing with images. So images is, right now, the only way you can use images is, the way to get started is you click upload images, select file, and then it's going to pull from your desktop. So from here, you want to, like, let's say I wanted to pull in an image. I can go over here to images, and if I wanted to pull in a different image, I can select an image right here, click open, and you can see it uploads it. Click done, and now it's added to my link library. So, or my image library. So if I wanted to use that image, I can now use it on my website without it being uploaded into your image library. You can't use it on your website. So once you have it in here, you can use any of the images you want on there. Last but not least on the library is the links, and this is the one we talked about earlier. This is going to be pages, external links that you've created, collections that you've created that are already in here ready to go with the template, and you can click add new link. So if you want to add an external link, you would just name it whatever you want and then copy and paste the URL there. So you'd want the full URL, the HTTPS, the full URL, and not just the www. And so you can do that there. If you wanted to have it go to an outside website, you can do that. If you've created a collection, so we'll go back here real quick. Let's go to websites, hosting manager. And if you're unfamiliar with collections, stay tuned because next week we will go over product collections in detail. And that way you can get more information on that. So once you go into the manage, you come down here. So instead of clicking edit to go into the editor, click manage. And then you can see all my collections down here that have been created. So let's say I wanted to create one just for USA products. So I'm going to click product collection, and we'll just do an example here real quick. Like I said, we'll go over in more detail next week. So we'll have it called USA, then I'll add a filter, come down to country of manufacturer, United States, click save, and now it's updating that. So then I'm going to come over here and publish it. It's going to tell you what you've done. So you can do one at a time, or you can do multiple and just come over here and publish it. Next thing you're going to do, come to your website editor. If you're already in here, make sure you save it. If you're not in here, just go back into the website editor and it'll already be loaded for you, so you don't have to refresh. But if you are, save it and then refresh. And once you refresh the page, it's going to load that new collection. So once you add the collection to the website, it's working in the background, but if you wanted to link it somewhere, you have to actually create a collection link for it. So now if I come back to library and I go to links, and then I go to add collection link, you can see the one I just created here, USA. So if I click that, now it's there and ready to use. You could do the add all collection links if you want. If you want to just do it all at once, it's not going to duplicate anything, so it'll find the ones that aren't currently in there and create them, and the ones that are in there, it'll say already exists, and I'll show you an example. So you can see they already all exist, so all my collections I've already created links for. And so now I can use that collection anywhere I want. So if I wanted to add it to the products, I could come over here, click add link, come down to USA, and then same thing as always, if I wanted to drag it up to the top, I can, or I can drag it wherever I want. Click done, save, and now it's in there ready to go. And as an example, if I want to come back down here to this one, I think this one's USA made certain products, but we're going to change it to the one that we just did, which is all USA products. And then I'll just rename it. Same name, but just different collection. Click save. And you can do that with any of your collections that you create. And so, like I said, stay tuned next week. We'll go into more detail on that, how to create it, how to add filters, all that good stuff added to your website. Last but not least is the settings tab. So this is, if you know CSS, HTML, JavaScript, you can get in there and you can actually use. So if you click edit CSS, you can see it down here. You can see all the classes, current page. So if you're familiar with that, you can actually get in there. So you'll notice, like with the quick search, the class is DC quick search. If I know CSS, I can get in there, change the background color, change the border, all that good stuff. So if you know that, you can get in there and do it. If you want to find it, if you go back to the block, so let's just go that quick search as an example, you can see it says DC quick search. So if I click on the pencil and I come over here to block style, you'll see right here that the class is already called out with the DC quick search, or you could create a custom class for it if you wanted to, and then you would just reference it down in the CSS. So that's a little more advanced. So if you know that, you can do that. Edit icon. So what this is going to do is allow you to add a favicon or favicon, however you want to pronounce it, to your website, and you just have to make sure it's 512 by 512 and be a PNG. And if you're unfamiliar with it, that's that little icon that shows up in the browser. So you can add those to your site. Meta tags, so if you have Google Analytics, if you have keywords and stuff that you want to use tracking wise, you can put it in the global meta tags. Let's say that you have something from MailChimp to be like an email subscriber. You would use the edit header custom HTML and just copy and paste the source code in there. Or let's say you have a live chat function that you want to use. You can come down here to edit footer, HTML bottom, and put it in there. Another thing you can do is, let's say you want to change the colors here. So by default, this is all the same. It's all the same as just what it came with. So the powerful theme. So if I look at it, it's just the basic default colors that came with the template. So if I come over here and I click on this, I can pick pre-built themes that we've created. So if I wanted to come over here and change it to like black, for instance, I could do black. If I wanted to do something different, like I could do Yeti. So Yeti kind of looks similar to what I have now. So it's close to that actual color. So I can go ahead and change the color to that. And then I'll just click save, and then it'll update the color for me to that. Now, as I mentioned, it's a little bit more advanced, but you can also create your own theme. So if you come over here to the dashboard, anytime you have your website editor open, the dashboard will be open to the left, so you don't have to close out of it and go back in, close out, so on and so forth. So if you come over here and you go to Websites, Hosting Manager, and you can go to Edit Themes, and this again goes back to CSS. So if I go to Add New Theme, and I'll just call it DC New, and then the base theme is going to be based off the template. So I use the Powerful Promotions. So I want to come down here to Powerful Theme, and you can find that by going to the website editor. And I already changed it, but you'll see it'll default when it'll show you. It'll be set on the Powerful Theme here. So before I changed it, it was preset on the Powerful Theme. So you can get an idea of, excuse me, you can get an idea of which one to use when you're using the theme editor. So once you have it, you got to make sure you have the correct theme so it all applies correctly. Then you're going to click Create Theme. And then you can see here, so you can see that color that's on our website right now. Let me go back to Powerful so we can get a good example here. And we'll save it real quick. So you can see that color that's from the theme, the same color that's pulling in. So let's say that I wanted to change it to this color and I have the hex/HTML code. All I have to do is when I come in there is, and once again, you have to be familiar with CSS. If you are, this will help you out a lot. And then I can just come over here to brand primary and I can change it to that color. But let's say I want to do a different color. So let's say I just want to do, I want to make that more of a highlight color. So I'll do different code here. And then for the warning, which you'll see here is the color, I'll change that to the actual color itself. And then I'm going to click save. So this is a little advanced, just showing you guys just a little quick preview. But if you know CSS, you'll understand it. If you're not, then it won't be that familiar to you. But it's not that hard to learn. But this is a way to do it. So once you make it, just click save. Then I'm going to come back here to the website editor, make sure I save it, and then I'm going to refresh. And then I'm going to go to the settings tab, and I'm going to change it to the new theme that I created. So it'll now be in that theme list that we just talked about. So if I go to settings and I come over here and then I scroll down, DC new is what I named it. You can see it change the colors. So let's say that I want to start changing, like, and this is a little bit more advanced, but this is actually gives you an example of CSS itself. Let's say I want to change the color of that button on the quick search. So like I said, if you know CSS, you can come in here, settings, edit CSS. You can come down here to a new line, and I've already written this out, so I'll just show you here. So I'll paste in my CSS, and you can see it change the color of the button. And then let's say I wanted to do we'll just do a quick couple changes here. The color of the drop down itself at the top of the navigation bar. So I'll just add a little bit more CSS in here. I'll click save. And then when we live preview it, you can see now that the colors have changed. You can see that blue color that I selected is now the warning color. I have changed the button color. The drop down color is different. So it all kind of matches up to what I'm looking for. And then if I click on the product itself, You can see here that the buttons and everything is kind of the colors that I'm looking for, color scheme. So if you know CSS, like I said, you can get in there and fully customize it, change the colors of the blocks and everything, that whatever you want it to. So I just wanted to show you a quick example of that. But I think that's going to do it for today. If you guys have any questions, as always, feel free to give us a call. Our office hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Phone number is 888-516-7401, or you can email us anytime at info@distributorcentral.com. Another thing to check out, so like we talked about today, is if you go to our help center. So if you go to help.distributorcentral.com and you come down here to websites, and you can go to website blocks, and so you can get the definitions. If you wanted to see the definitions of the blocks that we talked about today in more detail, you can go here, or you can just look at the website help in general, so you can see all the stuff that we have, all the help articles and stuff. This video will be sent out shortly, so you will get a copy to the recording, but we'll go ahead and get some of these questions answered in the chat. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.